crazy day. Can you believe it that the stock that was going to the moon, GameStop, that was $400+ just a few days ago, crashed all the way down to almost $50 today. It's nuts. But this video is going to be asking some questions about who really won and who really lost if the GameStop short squeeze is really over. So first of all, we need to figure out, do we really think that the GameStop short squeeze is over? If you remember, the whole thing started a few months ago really. If you looked at the number of outstanding shares above the float that were shorted, and that number, the short number, was as high as 120, 130. Some places had it at 140% of the available float stock. So that's why it really got turned into this amazing short squeeze opportunity for the retail investors, or frankly anybody who wanted to do it, to get in on the action and profit off of the price running up, knowing that those hedge funds out there who had shorted GameStop were going to have to buy in order to cover. So as that price kept, as the shares available to cover the short kept going down, then the price had to be driven up in order to help those short sellers cover. So what happened then? Well, what happened was, it looks like now, based on data from S3 Partners and some of the other data collection agencies that put out research like this, that the short sellers were able to actually cover most, if not all, of their short positions. And it's gone from 140% at the highest down to about 50% of that float that's left. So what does that mean? Who really won and who really lost? Well, we know for a fact that Melvin Capital and some of the other hedge funds out there actually lost billions of dollars. We're talking Melvin Capital had to get $2.75 billion in capital invested into them to cover. We know that other hedge funds were on the hook for over $1 billion because of their losses due to the short squeeze just in January, which is a crazy thing to think about. But who won in this situation? If the short sellers, if the Melvins and the other hedge funds really were able to cover their positions, which is indicated by that short float or that short interest dropping from 140% down to 50%, then does that mean that the hedge funds actually won? Or is there somebody else out there who could have been winning? Did the GameStop investors, the Wall Street bets people, the retail investors that have been championed as the heroes during this, are they the ones who won in this conflict, this back and forth between short sellers and retail investors? Well, frankly, if those retail investors bought at the beginning, like Roaring Kitty did, known as DFV on Wall Street Bets, if those retail investors bought at that time and their cost basis per share is pretty low. I mean, I think Roaring Kitty is at about $12 a share for most of his shares. Then he's won. He's still up. He ran it up, and I think we talked about before on another video where he at one point was up $47 million. And then he subsequently cashed out some, kept that cash in the account to make future moves. But I think as of today or yesterday, he's still up at about $22 million. So he definitely won. And he's got options contract looking forward into mid-April, where he's pretty confident from a buy and hold long-term investment standpoint that he's going to still win in the end with GameStop. So he certainly won. Now, obviously, the people who were late to the party on Wall Street Bets, and they were buying at 200 and 300 and 350 and 400, thinking it was going to $1,000 or more, those people are in quite a bit of trouble right now. They're in a hot spot. They're not doing so well. If you bought at 400 and it's down at $53, you're not feeling real good about yourself tonight because you've just lost all that money. But the hope is A lot of those people, if you look at the comments and you look at the string of discussion on Wall Street Bets, a lot of those people bought in because they believe the stock is going to be worth something in the future. And based on the turnaround position that Ryan Cohen from Chewy has taken, and you look at some of the moves that they've made recently, I mean, who would have thought that on the day that GameStop announced that they brought in the engineer who was in charge of Amazon's AWS service, which is a huge part of Amazon's business. Really, that's the biggest part of the profit center for Amazon comes from AWS, where they sell cloud and Amazon web services to other businesses. That's one of their most profitable sections of their business. And one of the lead engineers on AWS was just brought on board to GameStop to be their chief technology officer. And who would have thought on the day they bring that person in that the GameStop stock would just plummet like it has? So if you think that they are making good moves to turn things around, then maybe you're still doing okay regardless of where you bought it, if you're wanting to hold for a long time. Now, if you're on the Wall Street Bets community and you bought in at $300 hoping it would go to $1,000 and then you would sell and make $700 a share, you may be losing today. You might be one of the losers. Now, who else is a winner? This has been billed from the beginning, in the press at least, the CNBCs and the Bloombergs and the Wall Street Journal. It's been billed as the retail investor, the Robinhood, versus the Wall Street Bets people versus hedge funds and suits on Wall Street. But the fact of the matter is that it wasn't just retail investors. In fact, an article came out today that said that at least one hedge fund made $700 million in profit by being a part of the GameStop retail investor trade. So when they saw the stock price going up, they were able to buy shares at a good price, and then at the height when it ran up, they were able to sell out. And then they even started shorting it on the way back down. So they were able to short it as it fell down. That firm, Sinvest Capital, is a hedge fund, and it made $700 million. Another hedge fund, Murdoch, made $200 million doing the same thing. They were mostly in the short side of it. They didn't view it as a good long-term investment, but they made $200 million. So that's at least two hedge funds that were winners when it came to GameStop in this trade. And so I'm sure there are more out there. But the key thing to remember is there were winners in the retail space, there were losers in the retail space. There were winners in the hedge fund space, and there were losers in the hedge fund space. So who was a winner and who was a loser? I don't really know. Maybe you were. Maybe you were a winner. Maybe you bought low and sold high. Maybe you bought low and you're holding on diamond hands for an investment that's going to last forever. If so, that's great. Mention it in the comments below and let me know. But I think there are a lot of people out there who got caught up in the hype and maybe not looking at the actual numbers. They wanted to be part of the revolution and not part of a coherent and intelligent investment strategy that did a lot of due diligence. Now, the people early on, like Roaring Kitty, who put out his thesis about why this is a great stock, I think those people are going to do really well. But I think the people who bought at 300 and 400, who thought they were going to make easy money with this thing going to 1,000, those are the people who are going to be hurting. But remember, it's not as easy to say, oh, well, Wall Street Bets won and the hedge funds lost, or the hedge funds won and Wall Street Bets lost. Because I think there are people in both of those camps, winners and losers in retail and winners and losers in the hedge funds. And that's just the way it goes sometimes. The key is to make sure you're on the winning side more than you're on the losing side. So that's it. That's what I think. We've got to figure out who the winners and losers are on this one. And then we've got to take that knowledge and roll it into the next investment, the next opportunity to set our lives up to be better from now on. If you've enjoyed this video, do me a favor, smash the like button, hit that subscribe button. We're really trying to grow our subscriber base. We've picked up a few subscribers lately, but I really need you. If you like the video, if you watch the video, hit the subscribe button and let us know so we can keep pumping out content. And of course, the YouTube algorithm is going to love that, so you'll get to see more things from us. Thanks a lot, and we'll see you in the next video.